Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Is 1% a lot or not a lot? Well, the problem is, depends on what are you talking about. Let's say someone says, I'm going to give you 1% raise. That's not a lot. But if I would tell you that, I don't know, in the Second World War, 1% of the people that perished were first raped and then they perished. Would that 1% be a lot? I don't know, about let's say 60 million people, let's say, died in the Second World War. So you say 1% of that, it's big, or it's not that big now, the number. It is, depending on the context. I will show you here a little article coming from the Ukrainska Pravda, the Ukrainian media outlet, in which they are trying to, by using 1%, tell us that only fewer than 1% of over 52,000 Ukrainian soldiers trained in United Kingdom fled during exercises. Now this article and this title, the headline, is meant to give us 1% as fewer than 1% out of 52,000. Well, how much is that? Well, that is 520 people. So fewer than 520 people, which let's say fewer, it's 519 people, that's fewer than 520. But they didn't want to say in the title 520. It would sound bigger than 1%. Therefore, they are claiming fewer than 1%. All right, let's put it in a different perspective. Let's say you have a town in which they say they have 52,000 people in the town, 52,000. And they say 1% of the 52,000 people were raped. And you say, fewer than 1%. But if you go in numbers, it's 520. So let's say that happened in, I don't know, put a timeline as well. So you say, so that means 520 people. Now, obviously, one rape is more than enough. It's more. It shouldn't be any. But nevertheless, it is 520. So you see, 520 already seems a bigger deal. Then, obviously, in the other side, we say only 521, less than 1%. So you see how you just give a certain kind of feeling by making a certain kind of truthful statement, truthful title, a headline, but it's deceiving. They try to minimize it. Only 520, that's a lot, 520. But nevertheless, let me give it to you in a different context, and that is in the COVID-19 context. I have here the statistics, how many people, the mortality rate during the COVID, until 2023, almost 2024, how many people died? Now, disclosure, full disclosure. I never went over how many people got infected. I didn't care about that. I tell you right now. I only cared and I only looked at the mortality rate due to COVID-19, okay? Pandemic, flu, blah, blah, blah. Now, why didn't I go by the infections, but by the mortality? Because we all, sometimes get this kind of flu, we get a cold, we catch a cold, we get it, and it comes and go. Well, I don't care if it comes and go. I care about mortality. How many died? That's what I went by. So when they told me, it's 300,000 people died. Oh, okay. Out of how many? The population of United States of America? Roughly 330 million? And that's a pandemic? No. They always focused on the infection, not on the, like you play football. We were on the offensive all the time. I don't give a shit. What was the score? 3-0. Okay, we won with 3-0 or with 8-0 or 1-0. 1-0, we barely lost. Let's say 50-0. Oh my God, it was a killing right there. So the same it was for me for pandemic. Mortality is the score in a football game. How much it was. And it was not even 1-0. Why? I'm going to show you here the percentages of how many people died in 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. In 5 years, I'm going to show you how many people died out of 330, roughly. 330 million Americans. And you're going to tell me if that's a lot or not. Now, if that's a lot, then 520 Ukrainians who defected is a lot. Or we just use different kind of... all right. So let's look at this. I picked Wikipedia and I picked the statistics right here. Where are that? Statistics of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. And I went right there to the progression chart right here. When I said, as of May 2021, there have been approximately 120 million infections in the United States. Remember what I said about we are attacking all the time, but we don't score? So 120. So it's almost one third of the United States got infected. And then they survived. And it says, according to the Center of System Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University, as of 1920 Eastern, on August 7, 2021, a total of COVID cases in the United States crossed the 35 million mark, with a death toll reaching 616,712. So this many people died up to August 21, so 19, 20, 21. All right, so this was August. Let's say 3 years. So this is how much, the percentage. Less than 1%, fewer than 1%, but it's right there. It is 0.18, so 0.2%. This was the mortality rate of the pandemic. For me, okay. And then I'm going to another thing in the same article or Wikipedia page, and it says, at the start of January 2023, when the United States toll had accumulated to over 1,120,000, the IHME projected that the death toll would reach Okay, so I did okay. So now, since 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, this is January, so 4 years. I said in 4 years, 1,120,000. And that is I'm talking about percentages here, 0.34, let's put it rounded. So 0.3 percentages. That's way below this. But that one was called the pandemic, and that's fewer than 1%. I'm talking about the context, okay? I think 520 rapes, one is two more anyway. So you have here 520 people running away. I will give you another example where you can also say it's a lot or not. Let's say you get a raise at work, and you get, let's say, 1% rate. Now, if that 1% is out of $50,000, that's not good, okay? That's not good. That's what? $500. At $50,000, you get $500 a year. With the inflation, you are below inflation. But let's say you have, 50 million, and you get a raise of 1%, that's a different story, isn't it? So it's up to you to figure out if that fewer than 1% of Ukrainians who fled is a lot, or it's 520 people. No, 519, because it's fewer than 1%. But in the other COVID, wow, 0.33. This is what we got, 0.34. That's what we got, the mortality. In my, scores, not pressing. So you tell me, which one is lying? Well, it's always based, that's why you have to look at the statistics the context. Some statistics could mean a lot, like in the case of rapes, 520 rapes in 52,000 people population, it's a lot, right? And the other one, oh my God, we're supposed to look at it as what? 0.33 in 4 years at a population of 330 million people? 1.2 million people dead is awful, horrible. But do you know how many people died in cars accidents in 4 years in America, or fentanyl, or overdose, or heroin addiction? Or do you know that? I wonder, go and check it out. Is it more than 1 million in 4 years? Because 1 million in 4 years with 1.2 is about what? 300,000 people? 300,000 people. Go and check out in car accidents, drug overdose, homicide, or whatever you want to look into it. And you tell me, what's the pandemic? Do you hear anything about it here? All right, they tell you about the guns, and all that, but take the guns away from the population so we can all put the little harness around our mouth. All right, here it is, fewer than 1%. Oh my God, there's nothing. Only 520 people. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.